The lockdown in the UK is coming finally to an end, and we all have our lockdown stories, and I certainly have mine. My private one isn't particularly of interest, but the professional one has seen a massive amount of changes happening that I could not have predicted at the beginning of it. My plays, six of them, have been republished by salamanderstreet.com, and it's wonderful to have been taken on board by George in this way. And I'll tell you the story of how it happened, because it is quite an incredible story. It all begins with this play published by these people. This was DBDA back in the day, Dawn Boyfield Design Associates, and they, in I think 1992, when no one was interested in publishing a lot of my stuff. Hard to Swallow was out, Race to be Seen was maybe out just about, but Too Much Punch wasn't, even though it was touring, and Chicken was touring. No one was interested in publishing it, and DBDA took it on and did a fantastic service by taking it into schools and giving it away for free. This is the third edition. I don't have the first edition. I wonder if there are any of these copies still around in schools. Be fascinated to hear if you've got one. So they published it, and through their various incarnations they published it in different forms. That was the last form, I think, and then this one. So they were DBDA, they were then 10 Alps, and then they became Zinc. And my relationship with them, they published 20 of my plays. They put me on the map as a drama teacher, so massive shout out to them, and thanks. And where no proper publisher would put me up, they kind of created their publishing industry around me, which was fantastic. And they produced little mailers that you will see going into schools. This was the most recent one. So, you know, there was no sign of what was on the horizon at this point. The first sign of something going a little bit awry was this, when this book was published, Checkered Flags to Checkered Futures, and it came back and I saw it, and there were loads of mistakes, which meant that each book went out with this, and I felt it kind of spoilt it. But it was a blip. They published it. I was really pleased it was out. So it was just one of those things, but it was just like a little bit unprofessional. That's another of the plays that George has taken on with Salamander Street, so that's out, and it's a beautiful book. Really, he's really produced it very well, no mistakes, and all the bits are on the right pages. Do have a look. It's something I really feel very close to, and Chris is a personal friend of mine. He was in the original Chicken. And then towards the end of last year, Zinc published Game Over. No mistakes, really good. They rushed it out to get it ready for the premiere. They did a grand job on it. So there was certainly no sign that anything was up. And then at the beginning of the lockdown, like a week into it, after I'd been having communication with them, because teachers were wanting to get copies of the scripts online, and for the most part they didn't do that, and so I was saying to them, could you do it? And I was getting emails back saying, yeah, we're going to try to get that sorted, and they were looking into it and investigating it, and various possibilities were coming up, and so literally no idea about this. And the one thing I could offer was to make these videos. So that's how this idea came up. A drama teacher contacted me and said, could you put some stuff on YouTube that says about, you know, how you became a writer? So that's how this began, by way of me offering something for free that would make up for the fact that I couldn't offer the scripts online immediately, but was fully intending to offer that. Then, a week into the lockdown, I got an email saying Zinc are going to close next week. There was no time to tell anyone. And I said, you can't do that. You can't close in a week. And they weren't there the next day to be able to talk to them. It was just really difficult. And my relationship with them had been so good. It was just odd. It was just an odd situation. My lovely literary agent, Sophie Goral Barnes, managed to make contact with George Spender, who was planning to set up Salamander Street. and one of the other plays he's done is Game Over. So this has been re-editioned in just over 6 months after it had first come out, 9-10 months after it had first come out. And I love the way they've done the little double L thing, drawing attention to that. So that's really nice. So she contacted George because she'd got wind of the fact that he was possibly opening up a new publishing company, and he was planning to open in August at the Edinburgh Festival. Salamander Street is a street in Edinburgh that he has some kind of relationship with, to do with the Edinburgh Fringe. I think he'd worked at the Edinburgh International Festival, and then suddenly the Edinburgh Festival was cancelled, so that had mucked up his plans. So this sudden availability of my plays, which he was really surprisingly interested in, brought forward his plans to open it and gave him a good reason to launch. So he's now launched with all these plays, which is wonderful. Hard to Swallow, so great to have that in a new edition. We've got some new stuff in the forward with Tie It Up Theatre Company, a comment from them, Missing Dan Nolan, some lovely introductory bits by my cast from OYT. They produced some wonderful memories which really took me back in time. It was great to do that. And then last but not least, Too Much Punch for Judy. I mean, where would I be without this? And finally I've got it right. So the new opening to this play is the prologue is finally right. I thought I'd got it right for the 25th anniversary, but when we performed it, I knew it wasn't quite right. I've now got it right. So this is the version, the 2020 Salamander Street version is the version to get. And he's produced them so quickly, so beautifully, with all this design. And not only that, so they were out a week ago, before the end of the lockdown. He's also, yesterday I had these arrive, the DVD of Too Much Punch for Judy, the DVD of Missing Dan Nolan, together with a little double L, the DVD for Hard to Swallow, which will be available as well, and Chicken is also, so we began with Chicken, we'll end with Chicken, and we've got all this available from salamanderstreet.com, and I know I'm going to be involved in a conversation tomorrow with George to see where we go from here and what else is going to happen. So this episode 91, is the final one that I'll be doing during the lockdown. And it's kind of brings the story up to date. That is literally yesterday. So I will add episodes as and when something happens that is worth reporting. But it's been a really nice way to get this story kind of researched. It's been hard work. It's been interesting work. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've been fascinated to see the viewing figures, for some really high, for some really low. It lets me know what kind of things have been popular. The most popular one, I think, has been my 0 to 18 years one. And some of the Can You Hear Me Major Tom ones, they've been incredibly popular. So I don't know whether they're being watched by David Bowie fans or by drama teachers, but that's been really nice because that's a very personal play for me. So I will do more of these as and when something happens that is worth reporting. But up until now, this has been a daily occurrence, and I'm going to have a little bit of a break from it, I hope. Or will I have something to report tomorrow after my chat with George? Okay, thanks for watching. Really grateful for your support. I hope it's been helpful. The way in which I would like these to be used is for drama teachers to be able to set youngsters an opportunity to look up things maybe through this, and it's all catalogued, to say, you know, look up some of Mark's plays that aren't so well known. If you're studying Dan Nolan, set different students off to look at The Gate Escape or Granny and the Wolf or whatever, and see that they can then report them back to the class, and you get a bigger picture of what I've been up to. Okay, thanks very much, and I will do episode 92 when there's something interesting to report.